Hello. Today we're going to talk about changing the rear rotor on a W222 series or 2016 Mercedes Benz S550. As always, we want to keep safety in mind and put a block behind each wheel. There's a block behind that wheel, and there's one in the front right and one in the rear right. So when we jack up the car, we can safely work on the car and the car doesn't roll back. And of course, I'll show you all the tools that we're going to use, which is the torque wrench. And we have the Bren cylinder paste, as well as the brake caliper grease, and of course we can't forget the rotors themselves. And here it's just showing you how to handle the rotor, and it's showing you not to handle the rotor in the middle hub. Don't bang it, put it in a truck that's transporting other rotors and they bang together. Don't drop it on the floor. And this is actually showing you the right way of handling the rotors. And of course we have our torque specification for the front as well as the rear. I'm not going to focus so much on torquing the screw because you've seen that in the front rotors, just to give you an idea. And let's talk about the actual part number for the rear rotor is A222-423-1400, and there's actually two in here. The rotors does change color once you put them on and you've driven the car. Matter of fact, the outside will be silver and in here will be the same color as it is. So let's go ahead, jack up this wheel, and then I'll show you what's next. There you can actually, I don't know if you can see the grooves in the rear rotor, but pretty simple to change. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to retract the brake fittings as well as the parking brake, electronic parking brake. Want to make sure we have a brick here behind the front wheel, and we're going to go around to the other side. Want to make sure we have a brick in the front and come back over here. Want to make sure we have a brick behind. So let's go inside and look at the instrument cluster. Alright, so we're inside. Notice that the park is highlighted. Going to press the ignition once, pushing the button once. I'm going to come over here, push this up like that. Okay, so we release the parking brake, and so this can easily slide out now, just like this. This will come out. Alright, so we have the caliper off. We can go ahead and take the brake pads out. Alright, and now we have access to the lower bolt as well as the top bolt. And of course I'm going to use my little thing here for leverage. Just put it on top and just going to pull right back. Okay, as you notice, I also have an 18mm wrench, and that's what I'm using to remove the bottom half, or bottom caliper screw right here, which makes things a lot easier, and that's because we have this stuff that's blocking the ratchet. We'll do the same thing for the top one. Actually, we can actually take the ratchet and do the same thing. Alright, so this whole piece just comes right out like that, and just put that in the side. Now we have access to the rotor. And of course, if you have a nice ratchet set, you have a Allen, put it in here, we'll turn it, and this just comes right out. All right, and go ahead and take this little piece here, put it in there like that, and take a 3/8 ratchet. And see how the rotor is already starting to slide off. So now the whole rotor just comes out, and we're going to take the rotor, we're going to hold it like that. And this is what the thing is. We're going to put a little grease around the center, put on a new rotor, and then do everything back in and reverse. So this is what the old rotor looked like. There go a screw. We're gonna torque that. So I got my new rotor, and of course I'm gonna use the existing screw, which will go right there. And we're gonna go ahead and put a little grease around the center of it. And let me show you the same grease that we did for the front rotors, we're gonna do for the rear. And of course we're gonna take a little brush here and just clean around the center of it. And we're going to use this grease that I used before in the front rotors. And don't get me wrong, you don't need to put the grease there. I'm just doing it for the video. Let's go ahead and put the rotor back and see what it looked like. All right, we want to make sure everything lines up. Even the screw right there that we're going to put back. That's a little screw there we're going to take. We're going to take the screw and just going to turn it by hand until we tighten it with the ratchet set. Until it's nice and tight. Remember, this is torqued 10 Newton meters. And I'm going to go ahead and get the torque wrench and just, first I'm going to tighten it by hand, and then we'll get the torque wrench, tighten it, and this basically how the new rotor looks. And we put everything back, and when we finish we go back in the car and we'll put back the electronic parking brake so it can engage, and then we'll be good to go. And we're going to start with this guy first, which is the caliper. I'm going to put back those two caliper bolts, and those have to be torqued as well. All right, let's get started. I'm going to do these by hand first until they catch. Do the same for the top. Go by hand. All right. This is what this brakes look like without the brake pad. And of course I have the brake hanging on a box, so no way to hang it. So I got a box so it can just sit there. All right. So now that we got the brake pad put in, of course the brake pads are very easy to put in. The same thing for the other side. Make sure the curve is facing towards the inner part. So we'll take it. Now you can put a little grease in here if you want. It's up to you. Take this, come in here. Go ahead. And now this piece comes out. And of course this is going to go in there, and of course you're going to put the bolts back. So let me go ahead and do that with two hands. So now we got the two bolts on top. Everything's reversed. All right, so now we have our brand new rotor on the back. Now fortunate for me, I had to go into the service mode setting and retract the brake pads and use my compression tool to push the piston back. And those of you who saw my video on how to change the rear brake pad, there's a procedure how to go in the car. I'm actually going to go into the car and actually come out of that mode. But here's a tip: if you need to do that, and if you need to use a compression tool to push that piston back, you probably want to take off the panel, which is this panel here, and loosen this, because when you do push that, use the compression tool to push that little piston back, this does come up. So you want to loosen that. Now we're going to go ahead and tighten this back up. We're going to take this panel, we're going to put it back. All right, let me put the screws back, and then we're going to go in the car. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and close. Now, in order to go into the service mode, this hood needs to be closed, but I only open it so I can release the reservoir. So let's go in the car now. Okay, so it says fitting mode, reach exit fitting position. I'm gonna go ahead and hit OK, which is here. And you just listen to the sound. Okay, then we can confirm with OK again. And now we're back at the main menu. All right, so let's go back outside and finish up the putting the tires back on. Okay, those of you who saw my other videos, this is a little handy tool that basically helps you put your tire back on, because I don't know about you, the Mercedes, where you actually have to put the bolt in rather than having studs come out. I think I like the studs sticking out, but this is equivalent to the studs sticking out. Take it in here, put it in there, and your tire will actually go on there. And very helpful tool. I got it off of Amazon, and you can either get it from Amazon or eBay, and very crafty tool indeed. All right, so this is basically what it looks like when you put on a bolt. You go in there, you make sure everything lines up, and it's a lot easier to put one of these in rather than sitting there for like 5, 10, 15 minutes trying to get these bolts in. Everything is a lot easier to do. Take this, I'm here. All right, so basically put the wheel back on. We can go ahead and lower the car and take one final look. All right, so that's basically what our new rotor look like. Okay, this is what the rim looked like once it's driven on. You can actually see it looks pretty good. The outer part is, you can see where the brake pad is being applied to, and the middle part is the actual color that the rotors came in. The other side is the exact same. The procedures of changement is the exact same as this. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned a lot. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.